Hey guys, I'm John Setzler. Welcome back to the Kamado Joe cooking channel. Today we're going to fire up the Big Joe and we're going to cook a white pizza. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do is get our dough started, and in a mixing bowl here I have got 260 grams or 260 milliliters of lukewarm water. And if you'll check my video instructions in the video description here, I'll try to give you the cup measurements on that. And to that I'm going to add 8 grams of table sugar and 2 teaspoons of active dry yeast. And I'm going to let that yeast dissolve in there. I'm going to stir it up a little bit, let that sugar and yeast dissolve, and I'm going to let that settle in there for about 10 minutes. While that yeast and sugar is dissolving in the water, in another mixing bowl I have 400 grams of all-purpose flour, and to that I'm going to add 8 grams of salt, and I'm going to mix that up completely. After my yeast is dissolved and had a chance to get warm there, I'm going to dump our dry mixture into the water with the yeast, and I'm just going to take my hands and we're going to completely incorporate that. And after I have all that dough mixed to where there's no dry left, I'm going to cover this with plastic wrap and we're going to let it sit here for 2 hours. Okay, we've been going for about 2 hours and our dough's risen up quite a bit here. So what we're going to do now is I'm just going to kind of punch that back down. We're going to pull this out and just kind of roll it a little bit, and we're going to stretch it and fold it over on itself a few times. We'll do that probably 3 or 4 times. Just like that. Fold it back over on itself again. And one more time, and then I'm just going to kind of make this into a ball. We're going to put it back in the bowl, and we're going to let this rise for another hour covered. Okay, while our pizza dough is going on its second rise, I have lit a fire in the Kamado Joe Big Joe. I've put 2 fire starters into a full box of charcoal, and I've put my divide and conquer flexible cooking rack in place with the accessory rack up on top. And I'm going to set both halves of my heat deflector right on the accessory rack, right in the middle, just like that. And then I'm going to set my Big Joe pizza stone directly on top of the heat deflectors where that's double stacked, and we're going to cook on the pizza stone surface. So I'm going to let this grill warm up slowly to somewhere between 500 and 600 degrees. In order to bring the Big Joe up to 500 or 600 degrees, I'm going to leave the bottom vent fully open, and I would normally leave the top vent fully open also to let it come up very quickly, but we've got an hour, so I'm going to close the slider all the way and just leave the daisy wheel open and let this thing come up slowly. And after we get our pizza ready, I'll come out here and open the top vent fully until we get, you know, like I said, to 500 degrees or so, and then we'll put the pizza on. Okay, our dough's risen up nicely here, as you can see. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to roll that out onto, I'm just going to work it right on my pizza peel. I've got a piece of floured parchment paper on the peel, so I'm just going to roll this dough ball out onto the parchment paper, and then I'm going to sprinkle a little flour on top of it and get my hands good and floured, and we're just going to press this out. We're going to form this, and we're going to form this by pressing it from the middle. We're going to work it out to the edges and make a fairly nice sized pizza here. And as we form that out, we'll have a little ridge along the outside edge there, just like that. In my next step, I'm using this jarred Classico brand traditional basil pesto. We're going to put about 2 tablespoons of that on here, and we're going to spread that out all the way around. And on my next ingredient, I've got some sliced mozzarella cheese that we're going to layer all the way around this pizza. And then after that, we're going to grate on some fontina. Okay, we had to go to a little bit coarser grater for this fontina. It didn't like my little hand crank grater, so we're going to just spread that on here. And then we're going to follow that with a healthy dose of some grated Parmesan. So we're going to crank that on here. Just about like that. And then we're going to sprinkle on just a little dash of salt, a couple of turns of fresh cracked black pepper. And this bad boy's ready for the grill. Okay, I've got our Big Joe up to about 550 or so. So I'm going to open the lid, and I also trimmed off the excess parchment paper to make it real easy to slide this guy onto the stone. So we're going to drop it right on there and let it cook. Okay guys, we're about 10 minutes in, and I believe we're about ready. So let's have a peek. Man, does that look delicious or what? Let's get that guy off the grill and let it cool for just a couple of minutes, and then we're gonna have a taste. Okay guys, this thing looks absolutely amazing, and it smells even better than that. So I've cut it. Let's have a taste here. Well, first of all, let's have a look at the bottom. You can see that perfectly browned crust on the bottom all the way around on this guy. Guys, the white pie is a winner. Give this a try. Let me know what you think. Join us on Facebook, facebook.com/Kamado Joe. Follow us on Twitter @Kamado Joe. And until next time, this is John Setzler with Kamado Joe Cooking Channel.